Fergus McCreadie, hello.
Hello, how are you
Hi,
doing?
I'm good. I've been so excited to chat to you because I've been watching you from afar, performing, listening to your records, but we've actually never had a chance to say hello.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
really nice to be with you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the new album, The Shieling, which
Thank you
has
very
just
much.
come out. It's a beautiful piece of work that I want to dive into with you. But I want to take it right back. You released your debut, Tourist, in 2018.
Yeah.
You've been hella productive since then. But I thought it was really fitting because Tourist, your debut, is Scottish Gaelic for journey.
That's right.
And
yeah.
you've been on quite the journey since then. Tell me about the way that you blend Scottish folk music and jazz, because you've been on this very distinctive path. Has that always been instinctive for you, or was it quite purposeful? Was it something that you were like, actually, I want to try this and see what it sounds like?
It's sort of started at the former and has become more the latter as time's gone on, I think. When I was first sort of trying to write tunes, like when I was a teenager, I was such a jazz was the only music that I listened to, and it's the only music that I sort of thought was worth writing at the time, which is a stupid opinion to have. But I've always kind of been, my mum's a huge folk music fan, and I used to play pipes in a pipe band and stuff.
No
so
way.
it's always
like
been
the Scottish bagpipes.
exactly. I was in
Okay.
the marching band and stuff, and I had all the gear and stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, sort of, and I think that when you're from somewhere where the folk music, there's quite a few jazz musicians I think have this from different countries, and when the folk music's that strong, from youth, you almost can't help but let it influence you. So when I was trying to write jazz tunes, they kept coming out sounding folky. I was like, what is this? This is rubbish. But actually, once you kind of really accept that and let that be your sort of identity, that sort of really start to feel like I was writing stuff that I was happy with. And then sort of in more recent years, I've been trying to be a bit more studied in it. I think if you're going to claim to be influenced by something, you should know a good amount about what it's about. So yeah, it's a mixture. It's a mixture at this point, I would say. Yeah.
So tell me about the concept behind The Shieling, your new album, which is a beautiful piece of work. The tracks as well, I feel, are quite visceral. The track names and the music, they feel like they evoke certain scenes. So yeah, walk me through creating this record.
So we did something very different for this record, rather than just going into a studio where you've kind of got all the nice separation and you sort of do quite a clean record. I've got a friend in Glasgow called Gus, who has a cottage up in North Uist, which is in the Outer Hebrides of
Right up north.
Right up. I mean, it's it takes longer to get there than it does to get down to London. It's
Wow.
really far.
Wow.
But that was an amazing place. He sort of showed me the photos. I was like, oh, it would actually be so cool to go, because he's a sound engineer as well. It'd be great to go up with him and just chuck all our instruments into the living room of that cottage and make a record like that. So we went up with no plan. Just some sort of sketches of tunes that I'd done, and then Laura Jarrett's joined us sort of later in the week to produce, and we just sort of went into the week thinking hopefully we get an album out of it, and we did, and that's kind of what you hear on the record. So I think a lot of the visceral element of it maybe comes from the fact that it was in such a sort of cool, I mean, for us it was just such a cool place to record, and it's such a beautiful scenario. So yeah, I think a lot of it comes from that.
So Fergus, I hear there's a story behind getting a piano and a piano tuner to the Outer Hebrides. Fill us in.
Yeah, well, I have to say first, I'm super grateful to Yamaha for giving us the piano to kind of do the recording on. That was a very generous thing, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without their help, actually, I don't think. But they sent up this really nice man who we've stayed in touch actually after the experience, a guy called John, and he came up with the piano all the way from Essex. So if we thought it was far from Glasgow, then that is crazy. But yeah, he came and sort of putting the piano in the cottage was quite a crazy thing, because a lot of these old crofts in Uist, they kind of have the the main body of the house, and then they've got that sort of mini hallway that's on the front. I can't remember exactly how it's called, but that meant that to put the piano in, it took about an hour. And it would fit probably by about this much, I think. It was really tight. So we sort of first of all rolled it in, then put it on its side, turned it around, put it back down, back on the other side, turned it around, put it down, and then it was in.
Pivot.
So it was a lot of pivoting, exactly like that scene from Friends. So yeah, and then what was really nice though actually is because the piano had to be tuned every day, and also because it's such a huge journey to go all the way back down to Essex, John just stayed the whole week, and sort of slowly he sort of started staying longer every day until he was basically on the last day he was there the whole time, tuning it between every take. And that was a really nice thing. He sort of became part of the crew, so yeah, I was very grateful to him for being there.
That's beautiful. But that's beautiful, the efforts that you went to create this album in such a gorgeous setting. And yeah, you can really hear that it's recorded somewhere that is moving, it's evocative, you can really sort of feel the landscape in the music. So let's take it back to the early days of you getting to grips with your piano. When did you know it was going to be something that you were going to take really seriously, like beyond a hobby?
I think it was sort of I'd always been a piano in the house, so I'd always been like sort of messing around on it and stuff, and then so I think from like age 4 or 5 was just like messing around, and then started getting lessons at age 7, and that sort of killed the enthusiasm stone dead. And then it's through no fault of my teacher, but I think I was too early. It was too young to be getting piano lessons, really.
It can happen when it feels like additional homework.
That's exactly what it felt like. Yeah, I
went through the same thing with my piano teacher. I'm with you.
I just wanted to play Mario Kart. That's all I wanted to do. But then eventually, I think I was about age 12, and I was starting to get a bit, maybe an inclination of, it is quite cool, would be a kind of a cool job to have. That's what people are like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I went and saw this amazing educator called Richard Michael do like a sort of masterclass. He's a really legendary figure in Scottish jazz, and just this sort of how fun he made it look. It was honestly a bit of a light bulb moment, like, I want to do that when I grow up, and that was it.
Nice. Essentially. It's helpful to have these kind of North Stars around you, essentially, that
definitely
provide suggestions. Like, if you can see it, you can be it. And
you
find that person that's like, you're intriguing.
Yeah.
It can have such an impact on a child, right?
It's definitely true, and he was so amazing because he, like, no one had ever made this obvious to me before, and I think still it's a problem in education. He said something like, if you want to be able to do what we do, it's 100% possible. All you need to do is put in the hours. And I don't know why, but I'd always thought you just needed to be already really good, or you just didn't have it, and then just suddenly had like, right, I'll just go and put in the hours, and that's what I did essentially.
Yeah, sometimes the difference between, I don't know, sort of like being a hobbyist or being a professional is just deciding to commit.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Go for the cause and like throw yourself in. Obviously, there's a lot of other aspects as well, but I think to make that big step from hobby player to musician,
definitely,
that's professional. There's a sense of that to it. I want to talk about your productivity, because you're 28, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I love that you had to think about that. And you've already
don't want to think about it.
Don't want to out you. But you've already released 5 albums and 2 EPs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's astounding. Like, do you have a secret that you can let us in on, or is it kind of like I don't know. It seems like there's something about you that just doesn't hold back. You're just like, I want to do this. Let's go for it.
I think part of me wonders if it's impatience. Like, usually by the time one album cycle rolls around, I've already got an idea of like, I'd like to do this album next and stuff. And I think a part of it a lot. I think about it a lot is like, just rather than really trying to like get something like finished immediately, it's like sowing the seeds of like stuff that can kind of randomly grow a lot of the time. So I do quite a lot of practice at home, and a lot of that is actually just like looking for new music to learn and stuff, and you have to sort of input to output. And so for me, like I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but I never practice my own tunes, because I think it's actually more helpful to sort of learn a bunch of other, learn loads of stuff that I've never performed: classical pieces, folk tunes, jazz standards. I think that helps me a lot actually in terms of productivity. It's just looking for new things to learn, and the more things you kind of have in your bank, the more stuff hopefully keeps kind of coming out, I guess. But I mean, I think the impatience is the main thing. I'm always just really excited to make new music. So
it's nice to reframe impatience as a good quality.
I
think it's really important. And it sounds like you have really good muscle memory. The fact that you don't practice your own stuff, it just means that it's there at the surface, ready to go, and you're looking for new stimulus to kind of inspire you. So that's great. It makes me kind of picture you as this sort of sponge that just keeps to want like soaking up
Yeah,
more things. That's beautiful. So where are you creatively at the moment? I know you're on a tour. It's coming to an end fairly soon.
We have at this moment 4 gigs left.
4 gigs left. Okay, nice. I hope that's going really well.
Yeah.
And then after that, are you in creative mode? Are you in sort of rest mode? Like, what's the next chapter look like for you?
I think the next chapter is going to be. It's quite exciting. There's quite a lot of different things that will come up. We've still got a few trio gigs promoting this album that will come in next year, so I guess keep an eye out for them. But also, I mean, when I'm going home, what I'm really excited to do, and what I usually do after playing a lot of jazz, is I'm excited to do like a deep dive into something else. So I've got Brahms has been my recent obsession, sort of the classical composer. So I'm excited to go home and hopefully learn a bunch of those pieces. And then I'm doing this, have this residency with Chamber Music Scotland as well to try and write hopefully some more through composed pieces, I guess. Like when I'm writing for the trio, it's like I'm trying to write the least amount possible, so that we can just really improvise with it in the moment. Whereas I'm looking forward to maybe trying to create some works that are more like just like through composed, and where it's kind of really like quite specific what I'm trying to get out of an ensemble, say. So I'm excited to see where that goes. So yeah, a few different plays.
Cool.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what comes out of it. Fergus, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you very much for having me.